Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for today's first of many Quick Tips Tuesdays. I'm just going to be going through just some quick little tips, things about QuickBooks that I can help you with to help you in your business or your personal life, just make things easier for you in the QuickBooks software. So before we really delve in, go ahead.
Sorry, Leah. I think we just got rounded up.
Awesome.
I think we've got Hillary on with us watching so far. So hi, Hillary.
Hi, Hillary.
Yeah, Leah, if you want to get us started.
All right, so we're going to delve into our Quick Tips Tuesdays, and I'm just going to briefly tell you about our 2-day QuickBooks Online Foundations webinar series that's coming up. So make sure to join us for that and get registered. That's starting tomorrow already. So tomorrow, Wednesday, October 28th, and the 29th of October, we're going to be doing just a 2-day QuickBooks webinar, and that one's going to be in the online, and that's going to be from 9 a.m. till 11:30. So make sure to jump on to caseypeterson.com and follow the link for the events and seminars and join us and get registered for that. And then coming up in November, we're going to be doing another one on the 3rd Wednesday and Thursday of November, and that one's going to be on the desktop version. So keep in mind, totally separate. Online, QuickBooks Online is a different deal from QuickBooks Desktop. So if you work in desktop and that's your forte, then join us for the one in November on the 3rd Wednesday and Thursday in November to join us for that series. All right, so let's delve in and get started. So make sure that as we're going along today and giving you some tips in QuickBooks, to comment if there's something in here that you want to talk about next time. If you think of something that you want to, a topic for us for next Tuesdays, Quick Tips Tuesdays, just make sure to comment below and we'll get those ideas flowing in so we can have more of these Tuesdays coming up. All right, so let's get started. So today I'm just working in a sample file in QuickBooks Online. And just so that you know, if you are in desktop though, I'm going to try to, as we go along, show you how to do the same thing, same concepts if you're in desktop. So don't feel like it's completely different for you if you're in desktop. We're going to be able to do the same exact things, just get to it in different places. All right, so you're getting all your stuff entered into QuickBooks. Let's say you're doing bank feeds or just manually entering in all your transactions into QuickBooks. But what happens then? Where is it going? What is happening behind the scenes of the QuickBooks that you don't get to see? So that's what I'm going to help you with today. And that all starts with the chart of accounts. So I'm coming up here to the gear icon and going over to under your company, I'm going to chart of accounts. Now, the chart of accounts, if you're in QuickBooks Desktop, can be found under the lists drop-down menu. So it's lists and then chart of accounts. Same deal, same concept, that there's all of these accounts, is what QuickBooks calls them, that are driving everything that you're putting into QuickBooks comes to this chart of accounts and then flows out to 2 reports that we're going to talk about next, and that's a balance sheet and a profit and loss. So first, we want to take a look at our chart of accounts and make sure everything looks good, looks like it makes sense. You can see in the chart of accounts, we've got all of the balance sheet accounts are starting first. So we've got our checking accounts, our savings accounts, we've got our assets. That would include like fixed assets such as furniture and equipment, land, things like that are all assets. Then down a little farther, we've got our liabilities. So that's going to be things like a credit card or loans that you have outstanding at the bank, or personal loans, or any kind of loans like that are going to be in the liabilities section. So whatever you're posting as you're entering in your transactions, if you're posting them to these accounts here, they're going to flow to the balance sheet. All right, if we scroll down a little bit farther here, we've got our equity section. So the equity section, don't get scared by that word equity. It's just basically the section that contains your carryover of all the past profits, losses that your company has made, and it does include in the equity section the current net income for the company. All right, so then that's kind of our cutoff right here. And now after that, we've got all of our income statement accounts. So we've got our income, and that's going to be all the things that are driving your business, money making, whether it's selling products, services, whatever it might be. You've got your income section coming here. And now I just had this the other day where somebody asked, how do I customize this chart of accounts to make it so it really fits for my company, so that it makes sense to me when I pull up a report, especially a profit and loss report. And so I will say, for me, it's not a bunch of long lists to where your profit and loss gets really huge. We like to see it pretty condensed, like 1 page of a profit and loss is good. That's great for us. Now, if you like to see more detail on a profit and loss, great, that's good for you. For internal purposes, you can make sub accounts of some of these parent accounts. So you'll see here on the chart of accounts, you've got the accounts that are farthest over to the left, that's a parent. And then underneath that, if there's an indentation, that's a sub account. So you can make sub accounts, and all you have to do is come over here to this little drop down arrow and click edit on any accounts that are already in here, or you can create new accounts and make them sub accounts of parent accounts. But this little button right here is going to make this account a sub account of a different account. So you can see landscaping services is my parent. And so this job materials is a sub account of landscaping services. So you can make as many sub accounts as you need to, because then if somebody else is coming in and looking at your profit and loss, they can just collapse this and make it to where all they see is the landscaping, because they don't need all the extra detail that you might need. So just a quick tip there to don't get too carried away with your chart of accounts. Don't make it so huge. But if you do like more detail, and if you do want to see more expanded and more real digging into the deep details of your company, make sub accounts, not all just a bunch of regular parent accounts. All right, so that's all of our income. We've got sales, we've got services. Depending on what your industry is, you're going to have these accounts geared towards what you offer, whether it's rent or services income or any kind of thing like that, consulting, whatever it might be. You're going to gear this chart of accounts towards what your business does. And so you can always click this drop down arrow and edit and change the name of it also. Right here, you can just change the name of this account, make it something that fits for your company. Don't get too hung up on this detail type. That's something that you won't see in the desktop version. It's just going to be the regular types that you'll see there. And that's great. You don't have to get too worried about what this detail type is, but make sure your types are right. That's what's really going to drive how this stuff flows to your reports. So we don't want to see a bank loan sitting in here as an expense type. That's what I mean by watch your types. We don't want to see something that is, a fixed asset, a big purchase such as a pickup or, a piece of equipment. We don't want to see that as an expense, because that's a fixed asset type. So watch your types as you're creating this chart of accounts and editing it so that it fits correctly with the type that you're actually working with. So your expenses are just going to be everything that goes out for your company that makes it tick, your dues, your rents, your taxes, all that kind of stuff is going to be under your expenses. And so you'll see here on this sample file that there is these indents. So these are sub-accounts. So feel free to make sub-accounts as much as you'd like. We like to see sub-accounts for like insurance, because we want to see health insurance split out from property insurance. And so it's good to have separate sub-accounts of your parent called insurance. So that would be an example of where we might like to see sub-accounts, because we want to know the difference between health and the regular property or liability insurance.
Hey,
All right.
Leah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a question that came up of
Oh,
wondering if
great.
you move a regular account to a sub account at any time.
You sure can. All you have to do is come in here. So let's say I want travel meals to be a sub account of travel. That makes sense, right? We don't want this to be just its own deal. We want it to be underneath travel. So we can come under here on this drop down arrow to the right, and you can do this in desktop also. All you have to do is right click the account and then click edit. And then we can just make it a sub account just like this. So here under the parent, we're going to type in travel, because that's going to be our parent account, and we want travel meals to be a sub account of travel. So we're going to hit save and close there, and it's going to update, and then we're going to go to here and see now travel meals is indented. It is now a sub account of travel. Great question. Thank you. So yes, anytime you want, just make this customized to how you like to see your company flow, because like I said, you're going to want to be looking at these balance sheets and profit and losses regularly so that you can see not only how your business is doing, but if you're entering things incorrectly. So you have a sense of confidence in what you're putting into the system, that it looks right to you. You don't want to see a bunch of negative expenses or negative income. Maybe that means you're putting some deposits to an expense type instead of to an income type. So good. We want to get this chart of accounts customized to you and make sense to you. And we want to make sure that our types are correct. And we want to be looking at our reports often. All right. So down here below, just quickly, this other income and other expenses. This is just stuff that doesn't quite fit up above. And all it really does is on a profit and loss, it'll stick it down below so that you can have your ordinary net income and then just a regular net income at the way bottom that shows all of this stuff taken into account. So some people put depreciation as a regular expense, some people put it as other, just depending. Right now, we're working a lot with the South Dakota COVID grants, and those we don't want to see depreciation on the amounts that we're using. And so that would be a great way to put it down below so it doesn't show up on our ordinary income if we make depreciation an other expense, because then it kicks it way down to the bottom. And then you'll get a total before depreciation. All right, so let's take a look at how all of this is going to flow to our reporting. All right, so if we go to reports here, we want to look at a balance sheet and a profit and loss. These are going to be the two reports that everything that you're entering into QuickBooks are going to flow to. Okay, so these are the ones we're going to look at the most. So I'm going to click balance sheet here. You can always change them if all I did was scroll up a little bit. If you're in desktop, all you have to do is go to reports, the drop-down menu way at the top, go to reports, company and financial, and then balance sheet standard. And then just really watch your dates when you're dealing with these reports, because everything that's flowing to these reports is based off from the date that it's entered into QuickBooks. Like say you wrote a check and you're on the cash method and you wrote it for December 31st of 2019, make sure that your report that you're pulling it includes that date in it if that's what you're looking for. So really watch the dates. A balance sheet is as of a point in time, so it's a cumulative of all the things in the QuickBooks from the beginning of the QuickBooks till this date. So a balance sheet is as of a point in time. This is what I've got in my checking account as of October 27th, which is today. And this is all my assets that I have that I own. And then down farther, you'll see all the liabilities. This is all the debt that I owe. So you're going to really watch this to make sure you don't have negative loans. That might mean that maybe you didn't post interest and separate the interest out from the principal of a loan payment. Something like that could cause a negative loan balance. Okay, so this is a balance sheet. So it's good to pull this up every once in a while and take a look at it and make sure everything looks okay to you. And I'm just going to click to go back to my report list. If I was in desktop, I would go up to reports, company and financial, and then profit and loss standard. Here it's under my favorites because the balance sheet and the profit and loss are my main two reports that I'm going to be pulling. Okay, so now a profit and loss, this is as of a point in time, but it's a period of time. So the profit and loss is from one date to another date. So everything in this profit and loss is going to be from January 1st through October 27th. Anything that was posted in that date period is going to show up on this report. And so you can see here, I've got my income. I've got everything that I have made money. Deposits that have come in were posted to all these income accounts. And I can kind of take a look and see if this makes sense and make sure that things are not negative where they should be positive. Because QuickBooks knows that income is positive as well as expenses are positive, but expenses are money going out. So you should never see a negative even though it's an expense. Those should all be positives as well. All right, and so we've got advertising, we've got all of our ordinary type expenses showing up here. Everything that we customized on our chart of accounts all flowed to this report and the balance sheet report. So you can just take a look at it and make sure everything looks good to you. Looks like we've got a net income here. You can customize it further by coming up to this customize button. You can change the periods. You can make it to where the columns are different. You can column by month, let's say. You could run this report from March to August of 2020 and then make the columns by month so that you can see a comparative of this month to this month to this month. We'll show you how your business is progressing month to month. So lots of different options here with reporting. Very cool features within QuickBooks. Keep in mind, you can do all the same stuff in QuickBooks Desktop, but really watch what you're doing with your chart of accounts. And as you're entering transactions, whether it be through bank feeds or whether it's just manually entering them on the register or writing checks, all that stuff is flowing somewhere. It's got to go somewhere when you're posting transactions. So this is what you should take a look at to make sure things look good for your business and look like you're posting things in the right spot and you've got your chart of accounts typed correctly as far as income, expenses, and all that. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Great to have you joining us today on this beautiful Tuesday. So make sure to join us again next Tuesday. We'll do this again every Tuesday at 10 o'clock. And then also make sure to jump onto our website at caseypeterson.com and check out our upcoming webinars that we'll be doing. Again, we're going to have a 2-day QuickBooks Online Foundations starting tomorrow, Wednesday, October 28th, and Thursday, October 29th. And then also, if you'd like a desktop version of that same webinar, we're going to be doing it again in November. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a great day. Bye.